High School Musical is the 2006 Disney Channel original movie that follows an entire student body as they shower one Caucasian man with unconditional praise. He can sing and dribble a basketball. That makes him our straight white Jesus. Let's follow Troy Bolton as he tries to hide his love of singing from his best friend slash oppressor, while soft-spoken Gabriela Montez wails in front of a giant poster. This movie's original soundtrack swept the Billboard charts upon release, and the movie itself is now iconic for its memorable school dance numbers full of wiry teen arm movements, dialogue from the planet Angst, and peer pressure so intense you would think East High is the birthplace of modern communism. You were born to play basketball, you will die play basketball. Let's dive into this never-ending parade of layered button-up shirts in another installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV shows, YouTube videos, and other found media, and we julienne it into tiny little matchsticks so that we can eat them clip by clip and digest it and figure out, wait, why is Troy's hair always looking like a dead fish? As I said, today we're diving into High School Musical, a much requested Disney Channel original movie. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more decom clip breakdowns just like this. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll never be the last one to the High School Musical dance party. Oh, also, you might notice that I'm wearing cool new merch. This is my classic water bottle t-shirt. Brand new design, my signature right there. Don't forge that and put it on your tax forms, okay? We've got the classic version, and also we've got the Pride water bottle edition, which features this multicolored rainbow design, which is even cuter, I think. Accessory pouches, stickers, face masks, all of it. Now, without any further ado, let's get into it because our girl Gabriela is chilling at this ski lodge where they couldn't even bother to clean up those styrofoam leftover containers. The set decorator said, maybe if we add this pile of playing cards, no one will notice that this looks like a college dorm.
Gabby, it's New Year's Eve. Enough reading.
Oh, but Mom, I'm almost done.
The teen party? I've laid out your best clothes.
Says the woman who's dressed like she's conducting the opera tonight. It's New Year's Eve, mama. You decided to make a blazer out of a movie theater curtain? Okay. Elsewhere in the same ski lodge, we've got our main man, Troy Bolton, playing hoops with his dad. That's how you shoot a basketball. Just wild arm jutting.
It's the last night of vacation. The party, remember?
Need I remind you about the jewel-tone blouse party, gentlemen? Followed by the floor-length skirt cocktail reception? Why are both of these women dressed way too old for their age? They're like, we're gonna dress you like a 60-year-old person? We already know that at the teen party, the stars align and we get Troy and Gabriela forced on stage to sing a song together. Like, literally forced. They never asked to do this.
Oh, yeah! I can't sing, no. You will. And you! Yeah, come on!
Shorty in the Viking hat does not have enough confidence to touch my upper arm. I'm just gonna say it straight out. Also, what is up with the ski lodge? Why do we have so many young boys in giant hats too ready to jump in and put me on stage? Mind your own vacation, Carl Jr. But with some reluctance, Troy and Gabriela do decide to sing the start of something new. I love this song. Let's listen.
The start of something new. Oh, yeah.
I call this Demi Lovato lip-syncing mouth, where no matter what syllable you're trying to emulate, you always open your mouth like you're eating street corn. Something about Disney Channel original movies in the early 2000s, they were like, if you're gonna be pretending to sing on camera, you gotta give us this existential scream face. The amount of hats they put on the extras in this scene for New Year's Eve is so distracting for me. Like, when they're singing, my eye can only follow the guy in the silver sparkly hat as he jumps around the screen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, looks so much brighter. I didn't know it before.
This hat just like feels more like me. I think this is gonna be my thing from now on. I really do like this song, and I guess that in the High School Musical universe, this is a song that everyone just knows and would be available on a karaoke machine. But Troy and Gabriela really made it their own.
I tried to solo and nearly fainted.
Well, with the way you sang tonight, that's pretty hard to believe.
Well, that was the first time I've done something like that.
I'm sorry, I zoned out for the first part of that sentence. Are we talking about oral or anal? Of course, all school breaks must come to the end of their school breakiness, so Troy and Gabriela exchange exchange phone numbers, and then part ways. Flash forward to the new year, baby, and it's back to East High where the school is bumping with lots of red clothes and background actors wearing short shorts. You literally see Chad, played by Corbin Bleu, like roughhousing with that young lady. I'm like, can you back off of her? She's just a child. High School Musical quickly tries to give us a layout of who the main important players are at the high school.
The Ice Princess's return from the North Pole.
You know, she probably spent the holidays what she always does.
Well, how's that?
Shopping for mirrors.
Okay, if she was out shopping for mirrors, then you were out shopping for solid color layering garments. Talking down to her looking like a Target back to school commercial? Come on. Sharpay walked up into the school with her icings by Claire. She's the only bad bitch here, so I don't know what you're talking about, Chad. In an unexpected twist that only anyone who's ever seen Grease would see coming, Gabriella is also attending East High for the first time.
You'll do great. And I made my company promise that I can't be transferred again until you graduate.
Her company's like, it would be easier to stop transferring you if you would stop slapping your interns, Ms. Montez. We can tell right off the bat that Gabriella is nervous.
I don't want to be the school's freaky genius girl again.
I think you're supposed to manifest things you actually do want to happen, which according to this movie is a white boyfriend. We follow the group of kids into into drama class, I couldn't think of the word, which is taught by Mrs. Darbus, a very spacey teacher who loves the theater. And also reminds me like exactly of the chorus teacher I had in high school. Like they carbon copied her. Right down to the huge necklaces. Why do all drama teachers think like, you know what's drama? Having a necklace that touches my vagina.
Mr. Danforth, this is a place of learning, not a hockey arena.
Chad is like, excuse me, this basketball is all I need to learn. Basketball is my backpack and my notebook and my penis. I mean pencils. Obviously, Troy is excited to see Gabriella in his class, so he texts her to confirm, which basically ends up getting everybody detention. Like, I don't know why everyone has to take out their cell phone just because he texts Gabriella. It seems a little weird to me.
We will see you in detention as well.
No, that's not even a possibility. We have basketball practice in Troy.
Ah, that will be 15 minutes for you too, Mr. Danforth.
Wait, detention is just 15 minutes of painting theatrical sets? My gay ass would have been like, can I have 6 detentions a day, like 3 days a week? I have clarinet on Tuesdays. After class, Gabriella and Troy are catching up on how they're at the same school, and this is where everything starts to feel exactly like Grease. And some well-known behind-the-scenes trivia is that the story for High School Musical actually started as a concept for Grease 3, a movie that was going to star Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake as the son and daughter of Danny Zuko and whatever the woman's name is from Grease. They were gonna have Christina Aguilera play the daughter of Rizzo, and that character turned into Sharpay. So the lines are really easy to draw. I feel like once the movie was no longer Grease 3, they could have taken a little effort to change the parts of the movie that feel exactly like Grease to make them feel like less familiar, but what do I know? Also, I love that they show Gabriella as a strong, independent young woman here, because she's like finding her way around the school without Troy. I guess I kind of wish I knew if she was like a self-sufficient, confident young woman, or if she was a stage-frighty, shy little girl like she was when she didn't want to get on stage at the ski lodge. In general, I think Gabriella's character is a little weak at the beginning of this movie. Like, she's very soft-spoken, obviously, and she's playing shy very well. But I don't know if I get enough of an arc from her towards the end where she like comes into her own confidence. Like, even at the very last scene, she's like, I can't do it, I'm too scared. So we don't really see her confidence growing throughout the movie, which maybe would have been a little more satisfying. Not that I would ever disparage the perfection that is HSM, okay? Now's the moment we've all been waiting for, the first mention of the school play that the production of the drama club is putting on the stage today. I don't know what that was that I just said. Let's watch.
Yeah, that's completely impossible.
What's impossible, Troy? I wouldn't think impossible is even in your vocabulary.
Damn, Sharpay, you just came sliding into this conversation with a hot puss, didn't you? Oh, Troy, look at my tits in this pink tweed, don't you think? Sharpay is basically like, oh, Gabriella, you can be in the background of our show. That's the best we can do for you, honey. And Gabriella gives us like the weirdest response. Is her name Gabrielle or Gabriella? It's definitely Gabriella. I keep wanting to call her Gabrielle because we're chill like that. Me and her are really close, we're friends, so I shortened it. Gabriella, I don't understand why you tell her this.
There are a lot of supporting roles in the show. I'm sure we can find something for you. No. I was just looking at all the bulletin boards.
Okay. Have fun. Next we come up to the number Get Your Head in the Game, which is where Troy and his basketball group are all talking about getting their head in the game. You know, they gotta be on it. They gotta get your head in the game. They're basically letting him know that if he's distracted by singing, then they're all screwed, because apparently somehow his ability to play basketball impacts all of their ability to play basketball. Like, I get that he's the playmaker, which means I assume he makes the plays, but like, like, couldn't anyone do that? Couldn't they just Google it before the game and be like, let's do a Hail Mary or whatever? I don't know basketball. I'm not trying to know basketball. I'm just saying they're codependent a little bit. Basketball, all sports are codependent. That's the truth, mama. Go to therapy. If you play a sport, go to therapy. Anyway, Get Your Head in the Game is actually a competition to see which of these young cast members have the shiniest, skinniest legs. I bet you those femur bones are rock hard, baby. You could club someone to death with it like a 9-iron. This is whatever you call a gateway drug, but for circle jerks, okay? I know what I'm looking at. Meanwhile, back in class, Gabriella is giving us a clue about what kind of genius girl she is. She first got to the school, she was like, I don't want to be school's freaky genius girl, and then she does this.
That should be 16 over pi.
Yes, Miss Montez?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just,
No, did you have something to say about my equation, sweetie? Because I will drop this 3rd trimester belly on your head like a bowling ball, bitch. I love the pregnant teacher in this. She's the real star of the show. She's like, you're gonna correct my blackboard?
shouldn't this second equation read 16 over pi?
16 over pi? That's quite impossible.
Then again, I was on 2 episodes of I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant, so I guess it couldn't hurt to double check. Of course, Gabriella is right, and that impresses the teacher as well as the girl, Taylor, who's sitting next to her. She's like the smart girl. She's a smart girl. Right away, Sharpay and her brother Ryan are trying hard to sabotage Gabriella because they already know she's gonna come waltzing into this audition and steal their spotlight. So they do some research on her and figure out that she's like a scholastic genius from her previous school, and they put that information into Taylor's locker as a way of getting Taylor excited about Gabriella wanting to join the Scholastic Decathlon team. Meanwhile, Coach Bolton is mad because 2 of his best players, Troy and Chad, are in detention for 15 minutes and missing practice. So Coach Bolton and Miss Darbus have like their argument with the principal, who is like, you 2 are always fighting. In fact, they even had a little duet in this movie that was never filmed. Thank goodness, because I was in the stage production of High School Musical playing Ryan. Yeah, you know, cheer for me. The production never happened. It got canceled, but I did go to rehearsals for it. And in the stage production, they actually leave in the duet between Coach Bolton and Miss Darbus. It's not fun. I can see why they cut it. It's boring. There's already a lot of songs that I would skip in High School Musical. I know, that's like a sin, but it's true for me. I'm gonna tell you which ones too. Coach Bolton is so hyper aggressive and like he goes nuclear all the time on these kids. I'm like, is this a sports team or is this the military?
And this team does not exist unless each and every one of you is fully focused on our goal. Am I clear?
Hey, what team?
Wildcats!
What team?
Wildcats!
What team?
Wildcats!
Chad, what's it gonna be like after high school when you can't just yell, what team, whenever you don't know what else to say? Like, what's your personality gonna be then, bro? The amount of times he fills a conversational lull by being like, what team? We need to do some deep breathing exercises. You're getting yourself some chronic traumatic encephalopathy or something. You're angry. You're gonna O.J. Simpson me later, I just know it. Taylor is basically trying to convince Gabriella that she's a different person than Troy and his whole subspecies of cheerleaders and whatever, people who care about sport. For someone who's so smart, Taylor, you sure think you're better than everybody just because, what, you got good grades in science class?
Have lunch with us. Unless you'd rather sit with the cheerleaders and discuss the importance of firm nail beds.
My nail beds are history.
Sister!
Was this scene translated from German at some point? Because the timing and delivery is so awkward. Like when I came out of the closet right before an 8-hour road trip to Canada. Let's all sit in this Dodge Durango and think about how gay Nicholas is now. Meanwhile, Troy is feeling the pressure from Dr. Dad over here.
Dad, I'm not
There's
talking.
going to be college scouts at our game next week, Troy. You know what a scholarship is worth these days?
Scholarship is worth money these days, just like it always has been. And also, look at this house, Dad. Do we really need scholarships that bad? Like, I'm not, what? In class, Miss Darbus announces the Spring Musicale, which is called Twinkletown Theater, a fictional show that I want to see so bad. Like, what is that even about? So Troy is sneaking around to try to get a peek at these auditions, and nosy-ass Chad is following him too, being like, my friend is doing something on his own, can't have that.
What's he doing? How's it going, man?
See you later. Hey, what's up? I just said hi
Oh, hey, handshake kid, I can always count on you for a nonverbal handshake. But in fact, this kid is not nonverbal. This kind of thing makes me crazy in movies. I don't know why. Well, I do know why it happens. I just wish it didn't. We talked before about the difference between an extra who doesn't say anything, like as a background actor who stays quiet, and then an under 5 actor who has less than 5 lines. They get paid a lot different. That's the Screen Actors Guild. It's a union. The workaround is for the extras to never say anything on set because that would make them an under 5, and then just add in little bits of dialogue in post-production to make it seem like a more natural interaction. With this kid who comes in and handshakes, you can hear that they've added some voiceover tracks of someone talking to Chad, and they tried to time it so that it's always when this kid's mouth is turned away from the camera so that we can't see he's not actually talking, but it's so awkward. And I turned up the volume of his lines and subtitled them so you can get a feel for just how complete they made this post-production audio.
Chad.
How's it going, man?
See you later. Hey, what's up? I just said hi to Chad.
We welcome all different learning levels here at East High. For Ronnie, we just let him say hello to as many people as we can and then report back to us. It's fine. Troy Bolton continues his secret scuttle through the school to get to those callbacks, and the background actors continue to be walking around with no direction, it would seem.
Shortcut.
Why are you looking at your watch for his shortcut? Do we need to crack a window in this auto shop? Because it seems like these extras are acting really loopy. Once we get into the auditions for the spring musicale, we get some physical comedy from some of the offbeat auditioners who are hoping to get a part.
But you were right beside me.
Well, that was just very disturbing. Go see a counselor.
The counselor is like, really, Darbus? They just rolled on the floor. This is public school, mama. If their wrists aren't actively bleeding, I don't have room for them in my office, okay? This scene also features a lot of auditioners who sing off key, and it's supposed to be really funny. And in my high school production of this show, they gave these roles out to people who didn't get lead roles like me. Obviously, they couldn't all be the star. And so in order to like make people feel better for getting this role where they had to sing badly, the director was like, the thing is, in order to be able to intentionally sing bad, you have to be a good singer. So this is actually a compliment if we make you the shitty singer in our shitty show. Okay, shitty? Ryan and Sharpay audition with their version of the song What I've Been Looking For, which I don't care what anyone says, is superior to Troy and Gabriella's version, by far.
I've never had someone as good for me as you.
Oh, if only I could be in the motionless pyramid of background students watching this performance. No thoughts in their heads, no worries, just pure background vibing. Although this movie takes place in Albuquerque, New Mexico, it was actually shot at a high school in Salt Lake City, Utah. You can actually see lots of videos on YouTube where people go into this school and look around where the shooting locations were. I would love to go see real East High. The cafeteria is iconic. I love it. Just in the nick of time, Gabriella decides to go for it and audition for the role. And she basically drags Troy into it because for some reason they have to do pair auditions, which is like not a real thing when you're auditioning for a musical. Like you usually audition alone.
Individual auditions are long over, and there are simply no other pairs.
I'll sing with her.
Troy Bolton. Where is your sports posse or whatever it's called?
You don't know the word for team, and this morning you confused a basketball with a hockey stick, so maybe don't worry about where my guys are. Just make sure that you got an adult child somewhere with a spare room ready to take you in a couple years. You're soft, mama. Troy and Gabriella are talking to Kelsey, who's the really shy writer of this show, so I guess it's like an original musical, this Twinkletown musicale. Probably should have come up with a different name, but okay. Anyway, Sharpay was really mean to Kelsey, like telling her, I don't want to hear your arrangement, I'm doing my own version of your song. So Troy's kind of like, why aren't you standing up for yourself, you shy girl? What are you, stupid, with your stupid glasses and your dumb hat?
I mean, it is your show.
It is?
Isn't the composer of a show kind of like the playmaker in basketball?
Girl, no one knows what you're talking about around here, okay? Basketball is not a universal language. I know you always like to bring it back to you, but it's not. We don't know what you're talking about. It's just some game that your dad makes you play because he thinks he's not allowed to say he loves you. Kelsey decides to let the kids see how it's really played.
Do you want to hear how the duet's supposed to sound?
It's hard to believe that I couldn't see.
Oh, so exactly the same, just slower. Could have just said that. This could have been an email, Kelsey. Disney Channel original movies always have people looking at a straight up like sheet of words and they're like, oh, this sounds great. Ah! Now you're sight reading music. This morning you had to inflate your whole head with a basketball pump, and now you're Mozart. Okay. Again, like I said, I'm a much bigger fan of the fast-paced version of What I've Been Looking For by Ryan and Sharpay. Maybe because I have a personal connection to that role. Did I mention that yet? Too bad the show got canceled. It could have been me wearing that Samuel L. Jackson hat.
What I've been looking for.
Kelsey's like, I actually don't see that riff in the music I wrote, so maybe you were just clearing your throat? Try and stick to the script, baby. Miss Darbus overhears this singing, and that's a good thing. She's like, Kelsey, work on the duet with them. You've got a callback.
If you guys want to rehearse, I'm usually here during free period and after school, and even sometimes during biology class.
The most accurate thing about High School Musical is how Kelsey is dressed like a theater kid at opening night of a show they didn't get into. You would put on your best outfit and be like, I'm still a professional. I'm gonna support the production, even though I should have been Curly in Oklahoma. You guys, I don't want to freak you out, but it's time for the best scene. I'll give you a hint. It's in a lunchroom. It's in a lunchroom and there's people dancing around a table. Let's look at it.
Someone's got to tell her the rules.
Exactly. And what are the rules?
Well, the first one is that we always steal the music from Hairspray. You can't stop an avalanche as it rushes to the sea. I love that song. And this song basically sounds the same, but it's equally good in its own way. Throughout this song, the kids of High School Musical start confessing that they're secretly into something outside of their normal interests. Starting with Martha, one of the nerds who's really into dolls.
It's just dancing. Sometimes I think it's cooler than homework.
That's actual footage of me closing the book on the Trump administration. You orange dick! The White House ain't where you live. In the streets there are cheers. You've got 0 more years, so off with your stupid kids. There's also this cool skater kid who likes to play the cello, and when I saw this when I was 15, it gave me great hope because I had clear braces at the time and I was convinced that it was going to prevent my rise to TV stardom. So when I saw this young child actor with clear braces, I said, see, you can get cast in a Disney Channel movie with braces. It's fine. Flash forward a decade and this kid has been arrested. When one Supreme falls, another one rises to the top. Let me get those braces back on. We're cooking. The best part about this song is that it builds to this big climax where the whole school is dancing, but we never get more than 3 instruments playing on the track. It's always like piano, drums, guitar. So it sounds a little bit like it's a community theater production, but they still give us these dramatic dance breaks. This shot has everything. Ball play, floor work, lyrical table dancing, out-of-sync doo-wop girls, a person discovering books. Come on, it's like the whole movie in one little frame. Gabriella's mom is gonna be like, hey, sweetie, how was your first day? Well, Mom, have you ever had gay Orville Redenbacher freak dance on your cheese fries at lunch? Because that's what happened to me. After this song, it seems like the whole school is turned on its head, because cats are talking to dogs, boys are talking to girls, kids with short hair are talking to kids with long hair. It's a nightmare.
And now suddenly people are confessing. Zeke is baking creme brulee.
Yeah, and you're the only one who cares, chat. Even Sharpay is just looking out for herself, trying to get the role that she wants. You're the only one who's all about this like high school eugenics thing. Everyone has to stay with their own kind. Chat is just like really into groups, but not the good kind, I guess.
Even the drama geeks and the brainiacs suddenly think that they can talk to us. The skater dudes are mingling.
Yo.
Suddenly people think that they can do other stuff.
Ooh, it's starting to sound like you didn't do that research paper on Martin Luther King Jr., did you, Chad? Also, I wish that this movie could have established these groups that are divided a little bit more. Like, I think of this lunchroom scene in Mean Girls where they give us the map of the school and we see that there are the jocks, the hot girls, the brainiacs. When we got introduced to East High, they kind of threw us into Troy's friends and they showed us, like, Sharpay a little bit. I think they could have taken a little more time here to establish how individual all these groups are. Like, maybe we see the jocks are, like, making fun of the nerds, the skateboarders kind of annoying the cheerleaders, being like, ew, you know, that would all help me understand, like, the school was this way, and now after Troy and Gabriella audition, the school is this way. I need to see it rather than just have Chad tell me it. Darbus immediately gets concerned that this is like some sort of trick that Coach Bolton is putting his son up to be in the show in order to infiltrate the musicale. So very high-level paranoid thinking you've got here. You just got a child who's interested in the arts. It's not that unusual. Also, if Disney Channel were to do this movie again, you know they would add a gay character in. In fact, Lucas Grabel and Kenny Ortega, the director of this movie, they both agreed that Ryan was probably gay, but Disney wasn't going to prove that for a family movie, which, like, how is being gay not a family thing? Gay doesn't automatically mean fisting. But anyway, Darbus is talking about how she let Troy and Gabriella audition because
I give every student an even chance, which is a long and honorable tradition in the theater.
This you? How long and honorable was that tradition? Excuse me. It must have started sometime after minstrel shows, which invented blackface by mocking enslaved people and preventing them from getting work in the theater. But sure, I guess revisionist history is the hallmark of any high school curriculum. There are points where I don't think the script realizes how weird it is that Sharpay and Ryan are brother and sister. They could have made this a different thing.
I'm telling you, if that girl could figure out a way to play both Romeo and Juliet, her own brother would be ace out of a job.
You literally just said the only reason she wants to sleep with her brother on stage is because she can't sleep with herself. Read that again. Tell me that's a good line for this movie.
Did you ever feel like there's this whole other person inside of you just looking for a way to come out?
Are you talking about my parasitic twin? Because he's not looking for anything. He's mostly just fibrous tissue and teeth. Also, you know Gabriella had a white makeup artist on this piece because her concealer is gray. You've got gray eyes, sweetheart. They put a shade too light of concealer on her. To escape the drama of the cafeteria and Sharpay being mad at her, Gabriella and Troy meet up on the rooftop, which is his sort of garden paradise.
My parents' friends are always saying, your son's the basketball guy. You must be so proud.
To which they respond, well, we could do without some of the more slack-jawed facial expressions, but yeah, when it comes to shooting hoops, he's the best. Gabriella's like, this is just like kindergarten when you meet a friend and you're best friends. We're best friends. Troy is like, yeah, just like kindergarten, except I have more erections now. We go into this montage of Troy and Gabriella practicing for the callbacks in secret. They really don't want Chad to find out. They don't want Sharpay or Ryan to try to find out, even though they're spying around, always trying to figure out the deets. Does Sharpay have that T-Rex vision where she can't see Latinas if they aren't moving? Because that girl would have been standing right next to her, looking in this mirror. How are you not looking right at her? Obviously, Troy's dad wants to go ballistic when Troy is like 2 minutes late to rehearsal because he's practice because he's at rehearsal.
You seen Troy?
No, coach.
This is how I know I wouldn't be any good at basketball. If your head gets that close to mine, I'm gonna be reading a very sexual energy off of that. And he has a whistle in his mouth. It's off to the races, coach. That's all I'm gonna say. Troy gets in trouble for being late to practice and he's forced to stay after, and that's when Gabriella comes in and flirts. But obviously the dad is like, I'm gonna ruin this.
I'm sorry, this is a closed practice.
Dad, come on, practice is over.
Until the last player leaves the gym. Team rule.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Dad, this is Gabriella Montez.
Your detention buddy.
The full-time gym teacher. Don't talk down to me when your whole job is basically supervising locker rooms to make sure the hazing stays non-sexual.
Dad, detention was my fault, not hers.
You haven't missed practice in 3 years. That girl shows up.
Ew, I knew Daddy Bolton was a blame the woman ass dude. That's why there are no gay Tumblr pages dedicated to you, sir. Your son is 16, okay? You're lucky you got 3 years of playing school basketball with him before he got his first hand job and pieced out. Just be glad for what you got. I don't think the dad realizes how harmful he's being, forcing his son into these like really binary choices.
But you're a playmaker, not a singer. Hey.
Did you ever think maybe I could be both?
I'm Troy Bolton, baby. I have the freedom to pursue whatever gets this pussy poppin'. Here, let me toss this ball in the air all sassy for you. In the library, Chad is basically like, if you do this play, I will murder you.
Quiet in here, Mr. Danforth.
Okay, well, you just made even more noise trumbling over here, Broomhilda. Isn't there a bathroom stall in Hogwarts that you need to go live in? The writing is on the wall that Troy and Gabriella are into these musical auditions. So Ryan and Sharpay are all about sabotaging this plan with their awful costumes.
The jocks rule most of the school, but if they get Troy into the musical, then they've conquered the entire student body.
I love that the fashion philosophy for this movie was visored hats. Sharpay looks legitimately like a foil-wrapped cupcake here, and every girl in my class had that purse. She has 3 more uses before that metallic pleather starts to peel. But of course, Sharpay and Ryan aren't the only antagonists messing with Troy and Gabriella's plans here. We have the jocks and the nerds both meeting up behind the scenes to try and save Troy and Gabriella from themselves, which is like, do you guys hear yourself? You're basically being like, by letting them not do this thing they want to do and could easily do, we'll be helping them. Like, they literally, no one ever explains to me how Troy being in a musical would conflict with basketball, like their success, and nobody explains how how Gabriella being in a musical would affect these decathlon people who just met her. Like, they don't need her either. I just feel like the tension is a little manufactured in this plot. I don't know. Let's think of a way where the stakes could have felt higher. I think they could have leaned into this whole, the game is ultra important, and maybe they could have lent similar importance to the decathlon. Like, we know Troy has college scouts that are gonna be at his basketball game, so that's why it's important for him to show up. Maybe Gabriella needs to win this decathlon in order to prove herself at this new school so that she can still get into her dream college. Like, maybe for Troy, the responsibilities of being in the show would interfere with his responsibilities as playmaker. So his option is he can do the show and then his playmaker position would go to Chad. That's like more of a challenging conflict because it brings in this jealousy dynamic between Chad and Troy, and it's like a harder thing to solve. There's a million ways they could have done it, like make it feel like an impossible solution and not just like a societal pressure type of thing. Anyway, the two groups of friends execute their plan to manipulate Troy and Gabriella. The basketball team brings Troy into the locker room and start pressuring him to say things he wouldn't normally by waving the names of his past classmates in his face.
Spider Bill Natrine. He was the MVP of the league championship game. Sam Nedler, also known as Sammy Slamma Jamma, MVP of the league championship team.
The Thunderclap, Pat Patton.
Nicknamed after the super aggressive strain of chlamydia that left him infertile. What team? Wildcats! The boys do a lot of yelling in unison.
Troy, us!
Alright, locker rooms are supposed to be safe spaces, and I'm feeling really attacked right now. Yelling proper nouns in unison is so not the mantra, okay? The team puts up a webcam right as Troy starts saying the perfectly incriminating things. This is a common third act conflict trope.
Gabriella is not important. I'll forget about her. I'll forget the audition, and we'll go out and get that championship. Everyone happy now?
Behold, lunkhead basketball man.
The girl in the cream sweater is like, I told you it wasn't gonna work out, Gabriella. They just forgot to film that scene because I have dry ends. Taylor literally breaks Gabriella's heart and then she's like, so let's go have lunch, yeah? Meanwhile, Gabriella has this thing where she can only cry one tear at a time out of one eye at a time. Doop doop alternating. Aw, are you sad because your eyelashes look dusty? Next comes up to Gabriella's solo. This is the only solo song in the whole movie.
It's funny when
And I'm so sorry, sweetie, but this number is a skip for me. I know it's your sad moment, but sometimes when we have a moment, there's no one there to see it, and that's just life. Gabriella basically does her whole tour of the empty school feeling sad. Any way we can auto-tune her out of like duck frequencies, like more into a human range and not my head slammed into the steering wheel, car horn sounds. Also, side note, what is the print budget for this school? The wall collateral is like thousands of dollars of banners alone. That's all from the property tax. Look at Troy Bolton's house alone. That's gonna fund the basketball team for years. What did I just sound like? They'll be playing hoop-de-ball for centuries thanks to them. Troy, of course, has no idea how bad he done effed up.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, I heard via webcam that you think I'm your musical theater doll, and you told all your friends how you railed me with your vocals, then left me high and dry. Gabriella is, of course, like, you can piece right out, and that makes everyone sad all of a sudden. Like, within 2 seconds of doing this plan, all of the friends are like, we made a mistake. Yeah, even lying and making mischief, of course. For no reason, too. On top of all of that, this is for no reason. Just let them do the play. They can still do your stupid thing. As someone who at a young age was in both a production of Cats and Cinderella at 2 different community theaters, I know a little bit about time management. This is not an impossible task. False dilemma, false dilemma. Both of the friend groups, the jocks and the nerds, decide to come clean to Gabriella and Troy about what they did.
Gabriella, we were jerks. No, we were worse than jerks because we were mean jerks.
Mean jerks wearing troll vests and candy cane garb. But Gabriella doesn't want to hear it. She's like, well, he said what he said. No one made him, so whatever. And I agree with her. I'm like, yeah, he has a weak sense of self. If a group of hairless boys is gonna make you say some crazy but of course, Troy's not gonna take this lying down, so he's like gonna visit her house and do the say anything thing.
Well, you need to say yes, because I brought you something.
What do you mean?
Turn around.
Oh, cool. Come on up, I guess. Good thing I just finished bleaching my mustache. Maybe stay off of my balcony unless I invite you next time, colonizer. But of course, Troy knows just what to do to make it up to Gabriella.
Now, looking in your eyes, I feel in my heart the start of something new.
This is one of the first lines that Zac Efron actually sang in the movie. And from the looks of it, Gabriella had to take an off-camera bong rip just to get through it. She's like, Good singing. So that conflict is all patched up right in time for the third act to start, where we get our, I guess, kind of secondary third act conflict. This movie is about 10 minutes too long, and I think it's because of these two conflicts. Actually, I guess they're both necessary, but maybe the timing of them is just a little too close together for me. And the second conflict, which involves putting both events at the same time, doesn't make up a big portion of the plot. So it just feels like more manufactured tension getting in the way of our ending. But for now that everything is settled and everyone's on the same page, we get a montage of Gabriella and Troy doing their thing, practicing, rehearsing, and getting ready for the decathlon.
Go ahead and put 5 grams of this in, and that causes it to change from an acidic state, causing the color to change from pink to blue.
So is Gabriella our teacher now, or do we just listen to whoever has their hair done? Also, I hate that she talks about this liquid changing from pink to blue when that's not what happens at all. We just see it start fizzing. It's like they didn't bother to change the line when the practical effect on set didn't match it. Next, we get another conflict, which is just confusing. I don't get it.
Want to hear any more about Troy Bolton and that Montez girl? So, if you're telling me, as co-presidents of the drama club, that changing the callbacks would be what's best for our theater program, then I might actually agree with you.
Is that a yes?
That's a lot of confidence for someone who's carrying a caboodle as their purse. Also, I feel like there's a cut scene here because we hear the tail end of some layered in dialogue at the beginning, but we have no idea what Sharpay says to Miss Darbus in order to get her to change the date of the callback. All we hear is her say, if you're saying that this is what's best for the theater, then I might agree with you. But I really feel like there was some sort of plot device that we're missing out that let us know why they thought this would be a convincing idea. Because as it is, she gives no reason for why the date has changed. That's another reason why I feel like, again, this is a little bit crammed in, this conflict, because they clearly cut a scene or decided to not shoot the thing that was going to explain how this all worked. They just wanted us to kind of move through it, get to this last part of the movie, and enjoy. When I first watched the movie, I thought it was going to be something like they convinced Darbus that, oh, Troy and Gabriella are making a joke of your show. They don't want to be in your play. They're just trying to ruin the rehearsal or something. That would have shown Sharpay to be even more devious in getting what she wants. Also, I love how most of the time Chad is just a straight up jerk to people. Like, he's never really that nice to anybody outside of his basketball team.
Why would they do that?
I smell a rat named Darbus.
Actually, I think it's 2 rats. Neither of them named Darbus.
Do you know something about this? Small person?
You are just like a rat, jumping around the corner looking for a food.
If you're not holding a basketball, Chad has 0 time in the world for you. He wants to a hollowed out basketball, and it's clear. They go into this weird montage where like all of the groups do nice things for each other, which I don't know what this is meant to accomplish. Maybe just to like purvey the idea that everyone's getting along and nothing's like amiss.
A bye-bye.
Oh my god, we have something for you too.
Yeah. Ta-da!
An equation.
That girl in the back is like, okay, but we really need to study though. Also, thanks for this poster that does nothing for us. What's a hoopster? We've never heard, what is this whole scene of throwing basketballs from the arcade? What does this accomplish for the plot? What does this accomplish for the plot? It does nothing.
UB! Exclamation point!
Good draw, drain? Dream?
Okay, someone needs to give Ryan a standardized test before the end of the year because he's memorizing full-on show choir routines, but he can't read 3 words off of people's chest. Finally, the day has come. It's time for the big game, and Troy's dad has just enough time to fix his parenting style.
Because what I really want is to see my son having the time of his life, playing the game we both love. You give me that, and I will sleep with a smile on my face, no matter how the score comes out.
I'll go to bed with a smile on my face and a deflated basketball up my ass, just like always. I love when movies have like a chronically bad parent who just decides to be a good parent right at the end without like years of therapy required. I think I like movies even more when it shows like this is just the start of the dad's trying to understand. If he was like, I may not get this singing thing, but if it makes you happy, I'm gonna support you. Then it's a little bit like, okay, he's willing to work on this relationship and didn't just have like a 180 because he saw his son angry playing basketball. The game is going on, and back at the callback, we get another iconic song, mainly memorable for how painfully white it is.
Caliente!
Suave. Yeah, we're gonna pop to the top and slide and ride that rhythm.
Those stringy kids really thought they did something there, didn't they? Of course, the brainiacs are ready to come in and save the day with their technological plan.
Time for an orderly exit from the gym.
General computer mischief. They were like, let's just pan over some of the wireless routers in the production office for this shot. Whatever they did makes the scoreboard and the lights in the gym start flickering, so they have to clear out for safety reasons. And then the girls execute this second part of their plan. Wouldn't making a stink bomb during your chemistry contest ruin your chances of winning, though? Also, whatever this is, it should have been the experiment that Gabriella was showing us earlier. Like, if at the beginning she was like, and then when it releases this sulfurous cloud, oh, we get this strong smell. That way we could have been like, oh, that's what we're looking at here, not just like blue liquid that smells bad. Tie it all in, tighten it up. That clears out the decathlon, and both Troy and Gabriella are able to run to the callback.
Wait, Miss Darvis, wait. We're ready. We can sing.
I called your names twice.
Miss Darvis, please, please.
Rules are rules.
Lady, they just executed a bomb threat to make it here. I think you can let them sing a little bit. It's not a big deal. You already know that they're good. Why do you not want them to be in this show? Manufactured tension, again. But of course, the whole school rushes in and Darvis lets them perform. This is one of my favorite songs from any musical movie ever.
We're breaking free. Flying. There's not a star in heaven that we can reach.
We're breaking free! Give me that again. I gotta hear it.
There's not a star in heaven that we can reach.
I'm the girl in the green, front row groove into this whole song. I'm like, ooh, yeah, ooh. Tracksuit. The song is obviously a hit. The kids do great. And we have to go back to the basketball game, which is like when you have to go back to school after your doctor's appointment. They could have skipped this whole part where they win the basketball game and I wouldn't have even noticed. Is this like sort of closure important for the heterosexual children?
Congratulations, Wildcat.
Oh, what about your team?
We won too.
Cool, good thing that wasn't important enough to show because we're at the 90-minute mark and we still got one more song.
Nice game.
That's me trying to interact with straight men anytime after the Super Bowl. For like a whole week, I'll be like, peace be with you, sir. You guys, it's time for the Wildcat Anthem. This is such a good song, where they're all in this together. I love this song so much.
Everyone is special in their own way. We make each other strong. Each other strong.
When a song has the word strong in the lyrics, choreographers are always like, you already know what time it is. You gotta do this move, strong. Also, shout out to that girl on the right for looking straight into the camera lens and taking her moment. We live for that. Steal your scene. If they're not gonna give you the scene, you gotta take it. What are they gonna do? Fire you? You're already in the movie. You guys, this was a lyric that I got to sing if the show actually happened. We're all here.
We're all here and speaking out with one voice. We're gonna rock the house. Yeah.
Someone's gotta say it. Ryan is doing way too much with his pelvis movements in this movie. In fact, this whole franchise. There's no way no adult was telling him to do that. Thrustin'. We're all in this together. You guys, this is the best song. Also, I love this ending number because it's like so much dancing, so many people. The kids who had 7-foot streamers in their lockers were like, this is our moment. We're all in this together. What do you guys think of High School Musical? This whole movie never fails to put a smile on my face, and watching it back with you guys is a joy. So we're definitely gonna get into High School Musical 2 and High School Musical 3. Let me know what else we should look at, what other Disney Channel original movies. Also, give this video a big thumbs up if you wanna see even more clip breakdowns like this. It really supports this channel. And most importantly, if you're new here, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. Don't forget to check out new merch options below. Thank you for being all in this together with me. You guys are all the greatest. I will see you next time.